Okay, great. Once again, good evening, everyone, and thank you so much. I still see a lot of familiar names who came on the first day, came yesterday, and now all of them are here. Very good evening, and most welcome to all of you to this 5 days series of World Investor Education Week. Just to reiterate, this entire week has been dedicated to the investors' awareness about financial markets, to discuss about what kind of investment avenues are already present uh, in terms of commodities, in terms of stocks, in terms of different industrials and sectors, how they are correlated to each other, and a bigger part is also dedicated towards risk management and understanding that what are the risks which are available, which are in the financial markets. Now, uh, we have I'm looking at a lot of new names as well. So those who have joined today, do not worry about the past 2 days. We are already on the verge of uploading these particular sessions on YouTube. But if you need to catch up with the sessions, you can always talk to your relationship manager, and we can have a one-on-one session, and I can keep you up at the speed of what we discussed in last 2 days. Perfect. Now, before again I start, if you can hear me properly, if you can see my presentation, the slides, you can see me, please give me a yes or a okay. So just I should know that there is no network congestion. If you can hear me, guys, if you can see me, if you can see my presentation clearly, please give me a yes or a okay so I can proceed further. Okay, okay, perfect, perfect. So I'm getting more yeses. Anybody who has, if anybody faces a lag or a network issue, do not worry about anything. You're not missing out on the whole session. Just continue listening to the session, and whatever you missed, you can watch it on YouTube later. Now, just to reiterate, we what we covered in last 2 days, we talked about the asset classes on day one. We understood about precious metal commodities. We talked about energy-based commodities. So energy-based oil, gasoline, natural gas, heating oil, precious metals, gold, silver, platinum, palladium, base metals like copper. We talked about um, stocks. We talked about share baskets. We talked about stock market indices like Dow Jones and S&P. We also talked about a currency market. We talked about how a currency pair is quoted, right? We took an example of GBP USD. We took an example of euro dollar. Now, the first day was only dedicated to the point where you can understand that uh, how these products work and how many products are even there in the market. Because everybody, when they hear about trading or investing, they think either it is shares or it is forex. They're not aware about agriculture-based commodities. They're not aware about commodities which are related to energy or precious metals. They're not aware about share baskets. They're not aware about stock index or exchange traded funds. So on day one, we discussed about the technicalities of these products. We moved on to day two, where we tried hands-on platform live trading session. We did for a few minutes, where we understood how margin trading and leverage works. Margin trading, to summarize, uh, if you want to buy any position, you just have to block a certain percentage of the total position value, and you can still have the whole position. Your profit and loss will be on the basis of the entire position. So we understood what are the implications of leverage. We also understood how risky leverage can be. So I took a bigger trade yesterday, and I explained you what happens in case if prices go down. We discussed about liquidation process, that at what price the account already gets liquidated and it gets knocked out. We discussed about short selling. We discussed about diversification. We discussed about correlation, that how two sectors can be positively correlated, or could be negatively correlated or could have zero correlation. The idea of understanding correlation was simple, so that we can diversify easily. Because if there are two sectors which are not very positively correlated, then you can invest into those sectors, because if one of them goes down by 1%, other maybe just down by 0.2 or 0.3%. So these kind of correlations can easily be studied or can be provided to you by the market consultants. You can even search them on the web. This is a kind of information which is readily available. Now, today we are going to discuss something different. Uh, it's not the day trades what we did yesterday. We'll save a live trading session for Thursday. Today we are going to discuss about the market news and the events which impact market. I hope everybody is here with a notepad or with a piece of paper, because this is something which is really important for you to understand. Keep noting this down, and this is absolutely free of cost knowledge, and this is available. I'm sure what I'm going to tell you is very easily available on Google, but the problem with too much information is that you don't know which one to pick and which one to leave. All I have done in this presentation for now is try to filter out the information which could be relevant to you for your understanding, so it can help you to take trades and give yourself a rationale that why should I buy or sell on basis of what. So I also request you, if the attendees, I see a lot of names which were on the day one, they're still here. So if you have taken your demo accounts, you can log into your demo accounts, and while I'm talking to you, you can go to those options and check. The others who are new, who do not have demo accounts right now, uh, can call your relationship managers, if not now, then later on, and take a demo account. It's really important for you to create that watch list and add all these products and see their daily movement, right? So to begin with, what are the kind of uh, economic events and the economic data which comes out day on day basis? It comes on month basis. It comes out every month, first Friday, or every 15 days of the month. There are a lot of economic data which are coming out, and a lot of price movement happens on the basis of that economic data. Before I forget, for the newcomers, there's a chat option available to you. If you have any questions, please do write on the chat window. Normally, while I'm doing the session, I'll try to answer your questions, or once I finish the session, I'll make sure that I just scroll through and answer all the questions I can. Now, economic events or economic data can be of different kinds, and it is really important. On day one, I told you there's a lot of movement and there is a lot of volatility in the markets. If you talk about forex being one of the most volatile currencies, like forex is one of the most volatile asset classes. Currencies move a lot, and if we say 100 and 150 points over the day, if they're moving, then it's a decent amount of movement. If there is a macro event which occurs, it can impact the currency in a very terrible way if it goes down, and in a better way if it goes up. But what kind of data will affect, or what kind of data actually impacts currencies or gold or equities? Any kind which is a macro information. Now, when I say macro information, that means something which involves the entire economy, right? It could be a specific sector, but it is a part of the economy. So I have summarized, there are a lot of information. Few of them I have summarized to these 5 economic news and events. However, let me tell you guys, I will take you through the platform as well, to the live platform, live prices, where I will show you that where you can see this information in your trading platform. So it is easier for you to understand that how this works. Now, top 5 economic news and events. Talking about FOMC meeting, gross domestic product, which is GDP of a country, inflation data, which is consumer price index, the inflation measurement of the country, employment indicators, the job data, the labor data, something which is really, really important for the central bank to decide on how it works. And then there's the ISM report, Institute of Supply and Management in US. They report on the manufacturing and services of the company. So these are top 5 economic news events which will definitely impact your trades into the relevant area. To begin the first one, and guys, as I said, keep a notepad with you. So whatever you feel is important and you think that you should write it down, you can. I will keep switching from my presentation to my platform to give you a better experience of how we can see these data and statistics on our platform. Now, when we talk about FOMC, or when we talk about FOMC meeting, FOMC stands for Federal Open Market Committee. Every country has a central bank, right? So if every country has a central bank, US also has a central bank, Europe also has a central bank. So the Central Bank of India is called Reserve Bank of India. European Central Bank is called European Central Bank. Japanese Central Bank is called Bank of Japan. Chinese Central Bank is called People's Bank of China. Australian Central Bank is Australian Central Bank or Reserve Bank of Australia. So similarly, US Central Bank is called Federal Reserve, right? You can write this down anywhere. The US Central Bank is called Federal Reserve. Now, we have seen a lot of times US market matters a lot. US stock market matters a lot. And why is that? So, since our chat is open, please tell me uh, what kind of operating system in your laptop you're using. Put it on the chat so I can see the answers. What kind of operating system you're using? So operating system is like Microsoft, Windows, Apple, Linux, different kind of operating systems. So in your system, okay, okay. So somebody said Mac, iOS, Windows. Okay, I'm waiting for more answers. Windows 10. Okay, a lot of people used Windows XP, I'm sure, for a very long period of time, and now it has been forcefully converted into Windows 10. Windows, a lot of people for Windows, a lot of people for iOS and Mac. Now tell me, if you have to um, order anything online, electronically, or something, which is one website which you guys are using? And I'm sure everybody will have a different website. But if you have to order anything from outside, which is one website which you're using? Let's say you want to order an iPhone or perhaps uh, earphones, headphones. Which website do you use? Go ahead, guys. Use your chat window. Whether it is Alibaba, if you're using Alibaba, if you're using Smart Deal or any other e-commerce based platform. Okay, one answer, two answers, three answers, four, five, six. Perfect. Everybody's saying Amazon. So most of you are using Windows, most of you are using iOS operating systems, most of you are using Amazon, and all these are US companies. So when it comes to investment, I see a lot of people say that I want to invest into my home, my domestic market, and that's not wrong because somebody said Etsy, which is also a good. Etsy is a very good stock, a very good company. Google, okay. So all these are US based companies. Now, if you're investing into your domestic market, that's good. But at some point of time, you have to realize that you're using the products which are these companies are American companies. So you are already invested into global markets in terms of your loyalty, in terms of your product line, product services, you're already into global markets. So US stock markets are really important, right? Now, similarly, how US stock markets are important, US dollar is also very important. Most of the transactions in the world happens with US dollar. Similarly, US central bank is also very important. So, and that is why US election is also very important. People keep asking me what is US, why US is so important. US is important because Amazon, the world's largest company, is a US company. Apple, the world's largest company, is US company. Microsoft, for that matter, $1 trillion company, is this. Tesla or Facebook, everything is mostly US. So that's why their central bank is also very important. Now, how the economic event. So first of all, FOMC stands for Federal Open Market Committee. What is open market? Now I will tell you about open market operations. Just remember this: FOMC meeting happens 8 times in a year. Eight. Number eight. FOMC meeting happens 8 times in a year. There is a press conference before, so there is a interest rate decision, and then there's a press conference, and market reacts to it. The stocks move up and down, gold prices move up and down, dollar moves up and down, the currencies which are paired against dollar moves up and down. So there's a lot of movement which happens during the FOMC meeting. Now, why these meetings happen? So the very crux of this is everybody's like, Yogesh, you're talking about Federal Reserve, you're talking about central bank, interest rates. What are these interest rates? Why central bank is increasing interest rates or decreasing interest rates? Now, interest rates have a very important effect. And when I'm talking about interest rates, please remember this. I am talking about the borrowing rates, which means if you borrow a loan from the bank, you are charged certain interest rate, right? If the commercial banks, they borrow money from the central bank, they are also charged a certain amount of interest. So we are talking about that borrowing rate. And so whenever I say interest rate, it will mean the borrowing rate at which you borrow from commercial banks and the rate at which commercial banks would borrow from central banks, right? Now, why this particular news is really important? Because central bank, they keep increasing and decreasing these borrowing rates. So borrowing rate is basically the cost of the loan which you have taken. Now, why central bank will usually increase rate or it will decrease rates? Yes, on day one we discussed something about inflation. Inflation means the increase in prices, in the increase in the prices of essential goods, sometimes services. Now, I gave you an example that 2000 rupees maybe 10 years ago was a big thing, but now it's nothing. The value has eroded, value has gone weaker, right? Why the value of a currency becomes weak? We know because of inflation. Inflation means rise in prices. But why? And tell me very quickly on the chat, why the price of something increases? Tell me, if the price of this bottle is $2 and it has become 4, why this price has increased? Go ahead, guys. Tell me why the price of anything increases. What is the reason behind increase in price? Okay, so somebody said the value of currency decreases. Somebody said inflation. Okay, so value of the currency decreases. So that's the impact. The price increases, but a very fundamental reason. Somebody just said about yeah, also demand or demand increase. Demand, of course. Now a lot of answers. Demand increases. Exactly. If demand increases, then the price move up. Now, why demand increases is the question. Why would you demand more? How? And first and foremost, tell me, if you're buying something and now all of a sudden your demand is increased, why your demand is increased? And if your demand has increased, that means you have the potential to buy more. That means if you have the potential to buy more, you're increasing the demand. That means somewhere your income has increased. That's why you're increasing your consumption, right? Because your income is, you are able to dispose some extra money, and that's why you demand more. And if you demand more, the price increases. So the base of everything is because consumers have more money in their pockets, they demand more. And when they demand more, then the price of things increase. Now, if it keeps increasing, if this bottle, which is $1 and now has become $2 and $4 and 5, 10, 15, why sanitizers demand went up? Because everybody started hoarding them and the supply was limited and people started hoarding. On a completely different scale, the demand for the prices of toilet paper started increasing, which was completely out of my mind. I don't know why that happened. People apparently started hoarding toilet papers also back in US and Europe. The world is going to end, but they cared about the toilet paper. So anyways, the prices of toilet paper also increased because people started hoarding it. They started demanding more, buying more because they had more money. Now, when this happens, the price increases. And when price increases too much and when inflation becomes too high, it is an alarming situation for economy because what will happen? Eventually, price becomes so high that it will not be reachable to a common man. And if price remains there, then you won't be able to buy, production will not happen, and that is going to impact your particular life. Look at Venezuela. Venezuela goes through an enormous amount of inflation. 90% of people are living below poverty line. Their currency is as weak as it can be. So in Venezuela, if somebody gets cash, he quickly goes and buys a food commodity or food item which he can use or utilize because the value of cash will get eroded really quick because there is hyperinflation in Venezuela and there is hyper unemployment. A situation what we call as stagflation is going on in Venezuela. So that's why it's really important to keep the inflation low. Now, to lower the inflation, what can be done? Tell me what was the cause of inflation. Now you know what was the cause of inflation. Increase in price. Why price increased? Because demand increased. Why demand increased? Because you have more money in your pocket. Now, what should be done by central bank so that the money which is going on in this economy gets reduced? The supply of money should get reduced. How the supply of money can get reduced? So what they do is the cost of borrowing, what I talked about, what they are going to do, they increase the cost of borrowing, which means central bank increases the interest rate in one of those FOMC meetings. And when they increase the interest rates, which means the borrowing cost has increased, which means now you are borrowing less because the cost of that borrowing is high. So you're borrowing less. So your investment is less. If your investment is less, then the economic growth also reduces. Economic growth reduces, what happens? The consumption reduces because let's say you had a house, you had a mortgage on a house on which you were paying a certain amount of interest. Now interest on that mortgage has increased, which means you have to cut down your expenses. You reduce consumption, leads to lower economic growth, right? What you do, you start saving more, right? Or what happens again? The exchange or the currency, the value of the currency starts getting more and more stronger. So what happens the moment interest rate went up, the economic activity went down because people started borrowing less and saving more and less consumption because now they know the cost of borrowing is high, my mortgage payments are high, right? Mortgage interest is high, so I have to spend less. What happened? The demand for things started coming down, so the prices started coming down and inflation is in control. Now when prices is coming down, so tell me one thing, if price goes up, currency is becoming weaker. Somebody just said right now. So if price is coming down, then currency should become stronger, right? If that is the case, and if US dollar becomes stronger, which I know I have not discussed this correlation, but let's see if anybody knows this. Which is one commodity which is negatively correlated to US dollar? If dollar value increases, the price of this commodity goes down. If dollar value decreases, then the price of this commodity goes up. Which is this commodity? Tell me guys on the chat, if dollar value goes up, which value, the value of which commodity specifically most of the time goes down? It is called a negative correlation. Okay, I got one answer. That's right. That's right. Okay, these are the same people answering. I need answer from different people. Those who are still here, they joined on the first day. Just take a guess. There is no right wrong. Okay, just say anything. Okay, somebody said imports. Technically, okay. Oil. Okay. So specifically, when the value of currency becomes higher or it appreciates, the value of gold we have seen mostly coming down. So gold and dollar have a kind of negative or inverse relationship. So if the value of gold becomes weaker, the price of gold becomes higher. Exactly. So those who said gold, yes. Some people said oil. Oil may not have a direct inverse relationship with dollar, but yeah, but let's stick to gold because gold is strictly connected and related to the US dollar. So when that happens, now, so what we have understood that central bank increased rates, prices of things came down because of lower consumption, which means currency became stronger, which means gold became weaker, right? Now, tell me if FOMC meeting happens. So this increasing rates or decreasing rates, this is one thing which the central bank does. Okay. Another way of, so the rates increase, that means reducing the economic activity, reducing the money supply. How else they can reduce the money supply? So there are a lot of ways they can reduce the money supply, and those ways are called open market operations. OMO activities, open market operations, right? For example, to increase the cash flow in the economy, what a country would do? Print more currency, right? So this printing of currency also will be termed as open market operations. Now, to do these open market operations, the Federal Reserve designed a 11-12 member committee, which is called Federal Open Market Committee, or neatly acronymed as FOMC, right? That's why this is called FOMC. It's a committee within Federal Reserve which is dedicated and will take decisions related to the interest rates up and down and printing of currency to uh, uh, to check the supply of money, to increase or decrease the supply of money, and thereby affects US dollar, gold, and stock markets also. So this is one of the most important economic event. Why gold has been going higher and higher? Because after the pandemic, all the central banks, they reduced interest rates, so it increased the cash flow, which means the mortgages become cheaper, right? So people have more money in their pockets, they would demand more, and the price increased. So the idea is very simple. If there is a possibility that that the economic activity is low and central bank wants to pull it up, then they will reduce the rates, increase the supply of cash so that people have more money in their pockets, and this will affect dollar, gold, and stock markets respectively. That is why FOMC meeting is really important. It happens 8 times in a year. Your consultant can update you. 10 o'clock, the interest rate decision comes. If they have kept the interest rate same, then there is a 10:30 press conference which tells about what is the expectation in the near future. Always remember this, since we are talking about market news and events. Write this down somewhere. You always buy the rumor and sell the fact. Buy the rumor. So market runs on sentiments, guys. The possibility, and listen very carefully, the possibility of an event occurring in the near future will bring more volatility in the market as opposed to the actual event happening. When Brexit referendum came in 2016, that now UK will leave European Union in 2020. Markets went crazy. 2020, UK has already left European Union, but nothing happened to the markets. Why? Because markets have already priced in that data back in 2016. So the possibility of an event occurring in the future fluctuates, bring more and more fluctuations in the market as opposed to the actual event happening. So today, if I am talking and I say, or let's say I am the CEO of Apple and I say that there is a possibility due to the pandemic, the iPhone sales have been reduced. Maybe in the next quarter, our earnings will not be able to meet the expectations. It doesn't matter that today iPhone launch is happening. But if I said it that in the next quarter, there is a possibility that we might not give good revenues, my stock will come down. This is something which we have seen over and over in terms of stocks, in terms of commodities. The possibility of an event happening, the sentiments and the rumors is what makes the market go crazy. So this is where you have to make sure that that's why you need to be updated about the news and events, right? So first was your FOMC meeting, FOMC data. I'll show you in the live platform that how you can see these data, how you can see these numbers and interpret it. Second, most important, gross domestic product, GDP. Anybody can tell me over chat what GDP is? Just a small one line information. What is GDP? Please, guys who are not participating, please try to write it on the chat. Even just search Google text and copy and paste. I don't care. Just tell me what GDP is. What do you understand by gross domestic product? So when you're searching and writing this answer, you yourself will know what you're doing. And when you will read it through, you will understand the logic behind this. What is GDP? What is gross domestic product? Okay, got one answer. Okay, okay. So I've got three answers very much close to each other. Anybody else? A very quick one-liner. Gross domestic product, GDP. What do you think? What do you think it stands for? Okay. Government revenue, monetary measure of the market value of the final goods. So in a nutshell, value of goods and services produced by a country over a period of time. If I'm looking at a yearly GDP, which means in 1 year, what is the total value in monetary terms? Okay, in monetary terms, what is the value of goods and services? Finished goods and the services. Services means uh, insurance is not a tangible good. Insurance is a service. So value of the service. So if I did insurance service for somebody, I got paid for it. So that is the value for my service. Exactly, adding up money spent by the consumer. So the value of finished goods plus services which are produced in a specific period of time, let's say 1 year or quarterly or monthly, depends what GDP you're watching, right? Now, GDP is a very important data because if so, we have seen during the recessionary times, the indicator of a country getting into recession is when the GDP starts growing at a diminishing rate. What is diminishing rate? So if I say that India's GDP was going up 7% every year, but let's say in 2020 it went up just by 5%, it is still going up. But if while it was going 7% every year, now it is up by only 5%. So that is growth at a diminishing rate, right? That is what will indicate that a country might dip into recession. You don't have to wait for a GDP to go negative. That means that it is just not recession, it is chaos, right? So when GDP starts growing at a diminishing rate is where it starts signaling. So this data is really important for US dollar. It is really important for stock markets. A poor GDP or a diminishing GDP of a country can trigger a sell-off in stocks, and it can put the value of that currency more weaker, and gold prices might bounce on the point of uncertainty, right? GDP data. Then comes consumer price index. Now, consumer price index or a CPI data, this stands for inflation. Now, you need to understand one thing. There are a lot of, so index in itself measures, right? So when I say consumer price, the level, so just take a basket of consumer goods and services. Okay. So let's say, for example, transportation, food, medical care. So if the basket of these essential products, if the prices start rising, then inflation is going. If the prices are not rising, going down, then there is deflation. So a consumer price index, what it does, it measures the change in the price level of all these instruments. Now, inflation is a very important data because why? Why inflation is important? Because if inflation is going up or down, which particular authority is watching this data? Guys, on your chat, which authority is watching inflation data closely? I just discussed with you now. Which authority do you think is closely watching the consumer price index data, which is related to inflation? I know it's a very obvious answer, but I want you guys to type more so you can exactly. Okay, I got one answer. Got one more. Great. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. So everybody on board with this? Federal Reserve, the central bank, is watching this data closely. Why? Because if there is too much inflation, then need to control. So what they will do? They will increase the interest rates. So they are closely watching the CPI data. So when inflation data comes and when it shows that inflation is going up, dollar becomes more stronger on the expectation of that central bank might increase the interest rates. Hear this out again. If the inflation data is higher than expectations, US dollar might get stronger on the possibility that Federal Reserve might increase the interest rate to control inflation. This is how the economic data would work. So if you have positions in gold, if you have positions in US dollar, if you have positions in stock markets, this is something which you have to understand. Another data, employment indicators. Now, employment indicators, why employment indicators are really important? Employment, job. In Hindi, what we call rozgar. Now, jobs, why jobs are really important? You don't work, no money, you cannot buy anything, right? A country with a higher unemployment rate is a poor economy, right? Now, if okay, somebody just asked me a question. Could you briefly discuss what is the economic impact and views of Democrats versus Republicans traditionally? Perfect. I will. So the last segment of this will be on U.S. elections, where I will discuss a bit about what is expected, and will do a small commentary about this. Now, coming back to the employment indicators, if I'm looking at a jobs data, so there are few indicators which you really need to see. And again, I will take you to the platform to, and make you understand that how you can see these numbers. Employment data is divided into unemployment rate, the rate at which the people who are willing to work are not able to find work, is your unemployment rate. The unemployment rate of any country, uh, all the efforts are done to ensure that the unemployment rate in any country do not increase, right? Because if there's too much unemployment, then consumption is less because you don't have money, then prices start coming down, then you can dip into deflation, something which is not also a very good, the economy can fall into depression. Now, unemployment rate is checked. Then there is something called, and guys, note this down, write it on a piece of paper, something what is called as non-farm payrolls. Non-farm payrolls. What is non-farm payroll? Non-farm, the very first word, non-farm. Non-farm payroll is the data which represents that how many jobs were recorded in the previous month in US in the private sector, and obviously this excludes the farming industry. Okay, this data is so important, and when does it comes out? Write this down. If you're a day trader, you will know about this, or you should know about this. Every month, first Friday, 4:30 p.m. in summers and 5:30 p.m. in winters, non-farm payroll along with unemployment rate for US comes out, and market can go crazy. Gold, dollar, stock markets, everything can be really fluctuating if the numbers are surprising. Okay, because just how central bank looks very closely at the inflation data, they also very closely looks at the jobs data. If central bank increases the interest rates, and supply of money reduces, which means if somebody had a mortgage, now his interest rate is even high, so he's spending less. Imagine if that guy is unemployed, then what is the point, right? So central bank wants to make sure that unemployment rate is lowest, people are generating enough jobs, and then they should increase the rates. So that's why it's really important that we should make sure that we see non-farm payroll and unemployment rate, because coming of this data, if there is an expectation that 150,000 jobs came in the previous month, and the actual number which came out was 200,000. Very good for the dollar. Gold might come down on this because dollar is becoming stronger. Stock market might go up with a positive data, but if there is a fear that central bank might increase the interest rate, then stock markets can come down. Because if central bank increases the rates, that means the economic growth will start reducing, inflation will start coming down, which means consumption will be less. And consumption happens from where? From these companies. Companies who? Companies which are listed in the stock market, right? So stock market may not react very positively when interest rates go up. There are a lot of aspects to it. Obviously, when we'll sit more and discuss about this, we can always have more sessions about one-on-one, and I can explain you that how this works. Last most important economic data among all these is ISM report on manufacturing and services. Now, ISM stands for Institute of Supply and Management, right? Uh, ISM Manufacturing Index, and this is we are talking about Institute of Supply Management. This is US. This is earlier they used to call it Purchasing Managers Index or PMI index. What does it measure? So, Purchasing Manager Index or Manufacturing Index, as the name suggests, it measures the manufacturing activity, and this is a monthly survey. And ISM, which is Institute of Supply Management, they do it. So that's why it is called ISM Manufacturing. So what they do, they take a monthly survey, uh, more than 300 manufacturing firms, and they find the purchasing managers of those firms. So in that case, what happens? They talk to the purchasing managers that how much orders they are giving, or what is the condition of the purchasing, because manufacturing of any country is the backbone of that particular economy. China, for example, is strong. If China's manufacturing falls down, the entire world falls into recession. So manufacturing of any country is really important, right? So if manufacturing data is positive up to the standard, dollar might get appreciated, gold might come down, stock market mostly react positively to a good manufacturing data, correct? So what we discussed right now so far, top 5 economic news events, and these all have their own importance. Now, very quickly, let me take you to the live platform where I will show you that how you can find these data in your particular trading platform. Okay, this is the same account which I had yesterday. If you can see, I took very high leverage trades. So Microsoft booked a $7,000 profit, but at the same time, I closed a $4,000 loss. So my $100,000 account is 103, 3,000 profit. But needless to say, it was a very high aggressive leverage trade to show you that how you can lose very quickly what you have gained. And right now, I'm short sell on McDonald's. Short sell, to reiterate, that if you're expecting prices of something to come down, you borrow it from your broker and you sell it live in the market. And when price comes down, you buy at a cheaper price, keep the difference, and give back the commodity which you borrowed. And you can do short selling in shares, you can do it in commodities, currencies, stocks, and assets everywhere. Just make sure what we discussed yesterday about stop loss, risk management using diversification and short selling and market neutral strategies is really important, right? Now, where in this platform do I find all these economic data? So today we'll focus on this. Let me, this is your watch list. Investor Education Week Day 2 is what we created yesterday. So I hope people who created their watch list are watching today. There are a lot of stocks which have gone up and down. Now, for your economic data, product library brings products. Watch list shows you the watch list. This option shows you positions. But this option here, Reuters News and Market Calendar. So when you click on Market Calendar, is actually the news calendar which you are supposed to see. Now you see there are so many news which are here right now. I just told you 5 key events, the one which can be really, really important, right? But there are so many news. So first thing which you need to do in your platform, filter it out. First, country wise. So Canada not that important. Europe, Germany is important. Australia may or may not. Italy may not. New Zealand may not. Poland, Sweden may not. UK important. China is important. France as well. Ireland may not. Japan may not. Norway, Singapore. Of course, if you have trade in any of those, then of course that will be your important. But I'm just going to put UK, US, Europe, Germany, China. I put this. So I've selected my countries. Now all I need to do is filter it out on market impact. I don't want the 1 yellow dots or 2 orange dots. I want to see the news with the higher impact. So now what I see today is all the higher impact news. You see the flag next to the event. So this is Chinese flag. Today morning 6 a.m. This is UAE time on the left. 6 a.m. the trade balance, export and import of China came out. So if you see here, how you interpret this data? Exports YOY, which means year on year. If you see exports, previously it was 9.5%. There was a forecast of 10%, but the actual number came 9.9%. Now you will see this, you will say, oh, it missed by 0.1%. But technically, if you see the forecast was 10%, it came 9.9, but the actual number is still better than the previous, which was 9.5, right? So you can see what happened to the stock markets after that. We saw a lot of push in the stocks went higher because if Chinese exports are increasing, that's a good sign, right? Similarly, look at the unemployment rate of UK, which was 4.3%, and now it has increased to 4.5. Previous was 4.1. So definitely not a good sign. So this news came out at 10 a.m. Okay. Now let me see if I can. And guys, please, if you have any questions, please keep writing on the chat window. I would be more than happy to answer as much as I can. So guys, this is live on the chart right now. This is today 1 hour 11. So this is your 10 o'clock. Let me increase the size of the text so everybody can see this. So the news came out today, the unemployment rate is high for UK. Okay. This particular bar which you see is 10. From 10 to 11 o'clock, and this is pound as a currency. If you see there is a dip, I hope everybody can see this. This is 10 and then this is 11. 1.3044, it came down to 1.302. Okay. It did go up, recovered the level, but then when the trading started and US opened, we saw a big decline in pound right here. And the major impact came after the news came out that the unemployment rate has increased. So you can see that how it can impact your daily trades not watching the data. So you have to be updated if you're doing daily trades. Now what happens here, the consultants, they can always, if you have a position in pound, they can call you, they can tell you this is an important data, you need to keep a check on it. So you can put your stop losses and take profits, something which very few people know about day trading. So economic data are really important. Next, how you can see, if you see all others data here, business confidence data for Germany, right? Something which is really important, that if you click here, event information, in your live accounts, also in your demo accounts also, you can see the event information. It measures the economic sentiment in Germany based on a survey of 350 German institutes. Why do traders care? This is the important thing which you need to read. Why do traders care about business confidence? This report provides a medium term forecast for the health of the German economy. The experts surveyed are highly informed, and changes in their sentiment can give early indicators of future economic activity, right? So they are asked to rate the relative 6 month outlook for Germany based on exchange rate, interest rate, the stock market, and the direction of inflation. So business confidence is a very important data, right? Last time it was 66.2 negative, now it is minus 59.5. So it is good because now it is less negative than before, right? So the current condition, the economic sentiment, it is important. Again, today was inflation data for US, as you can see. Last time 0.4%, 0.2. So we have seen a decrease in the inflation. So we have seen stock markets moving slightly higher, dollar slightly weaker, and then recovered. Okay, let me just make the screen a little more bigger. I'm already zoomed in, but okay, so let me show the actual numbers. Okay. Okay. Now I hope everybody can see this. Actual and forecast and previous. So the business confidence data right here, right? If you see the business confidence, consumer price index, so there are actual numbers, what is the forecast, and what was the previous. So many a times, whenever you see these kind of numbers, you have to see the impact it does on gold and stock markets and the respective currency. Like this. So today all the data are done. Let's see for tomorrow what do we have. Go to the date. Just reduce the size a bit. And now next day, 13th is today, tomorrow is 14th. Okay, nothing for 14th, then 15th. Now 15th, Chinese inflation data, employment data for US, and oil inventories for US oil. Oil inventories decides the course for US oil prices. So if you click on event information, you will see what does it measure. So it measures the number of barrels of oil held in inventory by commercial firms during the past week in US. So why do traders care about it? Because it affects the prices of the petroleum and the inflation. So guys, these kind of numbers, these kind of data you can see on your platform very easily, and you can talk to your consultants and they can guide you how this is done, right? Now coming on very quickly to the next thing before we run out of time here. So these were the 5 economic events. Now, okay, trading strategies for stock markets. Now, before you read through all of this, one thing which is going on these days, earning season. Earning season is what? Earning season is the report card. If you remember back in school, every year you will get a report card of what you have done, how much you scored. Now, guess what? Every company which becomes a public company or which takes money from public, like Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Google, Tesla, General Motors, Ford, Volkswagen, Adidas, Nike, Chevron, ExxonMobil, all these companies, these are now public companies, are listed in stock exchange. They have a responsibility. So they are obligated to declare their results every 3 months. What kind of results? In a earning season, like every quarter, so this is October, this is the month of the earning season. Let me tell you guys, earning in the earning season, the stock moves so high and low on the basis of their results. And what these results we are talking about? We are talking about EPS, we are talking about revenue, and we are talking about forward outlook. So whenever the earnings come out, you need to see three things in the earnings report. First is EPS. What is EPS? The earning per share, which means whatever is the total income after taxes, your net income. From the net income, if the company takes away all the dividends which they have to give, the preferred dividends, then whatever is the remaining amount divided by the total number of shareholders they have, number of shares outstanding in the market, could be million, could be billion shares. That number comes is the earning per share which a company made. It's not the dividend, okay? It is not the capital growth. Higher a company's EPS, more profitable it is. So basically, whatever is the total income, the net income after taxes, when dividends are removed from that particular income, also from your net income, the dividends which are to be distributed, then you divide that by the outstanding shares, so you can get earning per share. So basically, how productively the company has used the money of their shareholders is what appears on earning per share. Now, every analyst, so there are a lot of analysts which keep studying these companies on Wall Street, and they come up with their expectations. Okay, which means if I am an analyst, I saw Facebook's company, for example, in 3 months I understood their product, I understood their revenue model, and I saw if the numbers which they are showing, they should be able to generate this much earning per share. Okay, now when the actual results come out, if the earning per share is higher than my estimate, which is the Wall Street consensus estimate, then the stock is more likely to go up. That is one segment, earning per share, right? But I also told you about revenue. So earning per share, one thing. They also estimate revenue, that how much revenue quarterly was made by this company, and is it up to our expectations? Because if it is not, then they missed out on the expectation of the analyst, which can put stocks down. Third, forward outlook. Let's say earning per share, they beat the analyst expectation, it went positive. Revenue, they beat the analyst expectations, it was positive. But what they said, that our future outlook for the next quarter can be a bit blurry because our sale of our products have been damaged due to, let's say, to a hurricane or to a particular thing. Now it doesn't matter whether your EPS and revenue is good, but because of a poor future quarterly outlook, you will see a decline in the stock most of the times. Now, tell me, all of you, answer this question. Did JP Morgan beat the earning estimate? First thing you should know about this, because this is the time of earnings right now, and everybody over here should be right now looking at the earnings season. Guys, similar, vote for it. If you don't know, then you don't know. So don't worry about, don't see it from the Google. Either yes or no or don't know. This will at least tell you where you are in terms of uh, being updated about the market events. Okay. 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 See, I see some honest answers also. That's good, guys. Be honest to yourself, guys. Nothing to worry about. Now we are doing all these sessions, so obviously we'll understand how these things work. Okay, 5 more seconds before we finish the poll. I would please request everybody who's here to answer this poll. Did JP Morgan beat the earning estimate? Yes, no, don't know. Okay. Right. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let me end the poll. So as you can see, 57% of Our audience, they said yes. Nobody said no, which is a good thing because they did beat the earning estimate. 42%, they don't know. So to those 42%, you know who you are. Uh, the month of October, January, July, these are months which you have to be updated with the earnings because this is the time when stocks move at its best. Let me show you one example. Citigroup also came today with the earnings, right? Let me take you very quickly to my platform right here. Now look at this. Let me open my watch list right here. I will make the screen a little, uh, yeah, okay. Now, if you see here, look at Citigroup. Citigroup is down today by 4.1% in one day. This is good amount of decline. Okay. Similarly, if you see, let me add Delta Airlines, for example. So Delta Airlines also had earnings today, and their earnings were also obviously poor as an airliner company. Look, Delta Airlines is down by 3% today, right? Some companies like JP Morgan and Chase here. Now, JP Morgan is down by 1.7%, but if you see the highest today is 103, and right now it is at 100. But the moment it opened at a higher price. People started booking profit, it came down. But companies like Citigroup, it went down 4%. Others came down by 3.5%, 7%. This is the impact of earnings. This is something which can bring a lot of volatility also in your portfolio these days. Now what you need to understand here, important part about earnings is, see what we saw in the third quarter. Now there are few encouragements also. Um, of 22 S&P 500 companies that have already reported, 20 have beat estimates, which is a very good rate than usual. And they have beat their earnings by almost, when I say beat their earnings, which means if analysts expected X, they go X plus 2, X plus 3, which is good for the stock. And so they have beaten these earnings by almost a very wide margin of 20-25%. So this is good. And if you see the historical averages, this is way above historical averages. Now, earlier they would beat up by 3%, 5%, but 25% is really good. So a lot of companies are in positive mode. One more thing is that the fourth quarter earnings is something which is of a question. So the goods and the bad, which you have to understand, uh, the overall commentary about the earnings is still positive. So what happened in the second quarter? Second quarter, the markets they created. So when American decided that economy was very bad, okay, this even stopped. In the second quarter, there was no great guidance. Like everybody was explaining because pandemic happened, so everybody was very depressed that what kind of earning estimates can come. But then over a period of third quarter, people saw this, that their earnings actually were better than expected because their expectations were so low and the economy recovered well. Same is happening now this is the Q3. Now in the fourth quarter, there is an issue if depends a lot on, first, US elections, second, what happens to the coronavirus pandemic or the vaccine or the reopening. So Q4 may be a bit volatile depending on these factors, but Q3, the expectations, these results are from the previous quarter when the markets reopened, when economy got revamped. So that's why we have seen a lot of earning surprises and stocks moving higher. Somebody's asking me why Citigroup is going down in spite of better than expected earnings. So you have to see three things: future outlook, uh, trade revenue, and so let me show you over here. if you read the entire earning, so when you're looking at the banking stocks specifically comes with earning per share revenue is really important, but more important than that, their revenue is something which comes from the trading. So JP Morgan or Citigroup, they will always have these earnings which you have to see. Just 1 second. Okay, right here. Yeah. So most of the times it happens that when stock goes up, people start booking profits. And when people start booking profits, the stock by which it opened, it comes down. Because profit booking these days is during the earnings, people are very quick to book profits because they can see that if my stock is up by $3 to $4, I'll book quickly. So if it comes down, then I'll buy again for the rest of the quarter. So this can also be a reason that in spite of we seeing that the stock has come up with positive earnings, the stock comes down. But initially, so if you see in this watch list here, the lowest of Citigroup is 43.8, highest is 46 here. It opened directly at 46 and last it closed around 45.89 yesterday. So a lot of things might matter if their forward guidance, if their future outlook is not as strong as what is expected. So you can read a bit more about Citigroup and what are their earnings and trading revenues as compared to before. If there is any miss on the forward outlook or the future outlook, it might pull the stock down, right? Otherwise, a lot of times there's a profit booking which happens, which also bring the stock price down. But then it opens high, people book profits, and it goes down. Right now, if you want to know what other earnings are going to come, all you have to do, you can go to earnings calendar of Nasdaq, and day on day they have listed down the stocks. Tomorrow, for example, Wells Fargo is going to come up with the earnings. So try this on your demo accounts, guys. Read about what is the expectation of Wells Fargo tomorrow. Uh, Most probably earnings might go positive. So you buy Wells Fargo today in your demo accounts, please, in your demo accounts. Anybody who has a live account, I'm not giving you any recommendation for demo account holders. Buy Wells Fargo stocks today and see what happens tomorrow when earnings come and market opens. So earnings will come before market or after hours. Before market opening, if it comes, then the stock moves in pre-market. So when this actual market opens, you will be able to see the difference in your portfolio. So you buy Wells Fargo and see a lot of other stocks which are going to come up with earnings tomorrow, and just buy all of them and see what happens, right? This is just for your demo and understanding in your demo accounts, right? So earnings, guys, can have a really three things you see: earning per share, revenue, and then forward outlook, which is the future quarterly outlook. Now, very quickly to the last segment, which also is really important, and uh, this is going to be talked for a while, even after when it is done. US elections 2020. Now, this is coming every once in 4 years, and that makes it a very important event. Guys, 2016, Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton, 3 a.m. I was in the office. People were trading, a lot of investors, clients, they were trading, they were calling. S&P 500, Dow Jones moved 5%, 6% in one night. So fluctuating and so volatile. US elections is the most volatile event. And that also, let me tell you, when I say more volatility, that means more fluctuation, more risk. Keep your trades and positions covered. So, a question was asked about the fact discussing what is the economic impact and views of Democrats versus Republicans traditionally. See, we have seen US elections generally, uh, like for example, so Republicans and Democrats, they have very different ideologies, right? Republicans, they believe more in promoting businesses and entrepreneurs. So for them, why Donald Trump is pro stock market, or every Republican whenever Republican comes into the picture, the stock market goes up because they are very much in favor of reducing down the corporate tax. What Donald Trump did first thing when he got into presidency, he reduced the corporate taxes, which means the corporates now have to pay lesser tax, which means their earnings increase. So quarterly earnings came out way higher than the estimate. Stock went up further. So that's why from 2016 to 2020, I will also show you once the session is over. I will show you the what has happened from 2016 when US Donald Trump became the US president. After that, how markets have gone. And on the other side, Democrats, they like to put more stimulus in the economy, but at the same time, they want to keep stock markets regulated in check. So Joe Biden, the Democrat candidate, says that if he gets elected, he wants to increase the corporate tax from 21% to 28%. Now that's going to be a big blow to the corporates, right? So if he's leading the polls on the day of elections, if it comes state by state, the US elections is a matter of states. So if big states go to Democrats and the votes are coming out, and even if there is a hint of Democrats winning, we might see stocks coming down, or if Trump wins, we might see stock coming up. But this is going to be a bundle of volatility. So Republicans are very much pro market, pro stock market. Democrats are more in favor of the rich should pay more tax, the poor should pay lower tax, where Republicans feel that taxes should be minimum, uh, interest rates can be kept low, so there will be enough economic activity and money supply. But what they also don't understand is it increases the debt on the country. Also, it weakens the currency. So that's why you have seen Donald Trump favoring a weaker dollar, Donald Trump favoring more and more stimulus, more and more less interest rates. At the same time, stock markets have also gone up due to lower corporate taxes. This is what Republicans are all about. When it comes to drug prices or medicine prices, a lot of healthcare stocks they got a boost after Trump came because Democrats they stand for lower drug prices. They think so they normally feel that healthcare is something. What is Obamacare? Obamacare is more about federal government being involved into the healthcare program for the people, while Republicans like Donald Trump feel that every private insurance provider should be allowed to do insurance and people should choose their own insurance provider. The federal government should not be involved into it. Where Democrats feel that federal government is involved, it becomes more competitive. At the same time, the drug prices go down. So it is not good for healthcare and pharma companies. So you have to be very careful when you are looking at the healthcare and pharma sector uh, during the elections. Now, US elections, as I was saying, generally do not tend to change the status quo. But this time around, it could end up being a very messy affair. Because as of now, Joe Biden, who's the Democrat, he's leading against Donald Trump in all the major national polls. If you see, like for starters, very strong possibility of US election results, if you see, is getting contested in courts because Trump has already hinted about that if he loses. So what they did, there was a big agenda of Supreme Court which came out that appointing the Supreme Court nominee, and Republicans took their chance and they appointed actually a person as a woman as a nomination of a Supreme Court uh, who favors more like who does not favor Obamacare or the healthcare bill and is kind of anti-democrats. So now they have more weightage in the Supreme Court also because Supreme Court is for life, but government is for restricted presidency. Somebody said for the environmental usage, not the terms, of course. So for environment usage also, Republicans they don't care about the environment. You will see numerous times Donald Trump saying that climate change is a hoax created by China, where Democrats are pro environment. So what happens is why stocks also get a boost because a lot of companies which are using or following environmental laws, they are paying a certain amount of cost in following that, right? They are using, if they do it in an environment friendly way, the same procedure, they pay a certain amount of cost, which again reduces down their profitability. But under a Republican government, where environment is not given much regard. You can see environment stocks also. Again, if Democrats come, then environment stocks might get a boost, but at the same time, the overall stocks might come down because now everybody has to be regulated with the environmental laws. So they have their different ideologies about student debt, about abortion, about women rights, about civil rights, economic policies, taxes, trade war. Now, first and very foremost, Donald Trump has clearly stated that if he becomes a president, the trade war with China will continue. So that is bad for stock markets. But for Democrats, if they can bring peace and harmony, then that's one thing. Somebody is asking a question: will the stock market be open for extended hours as results come in? So stocks will be strictly open from the time it is, but index and gold and currencies and commodities, they are almost tradable 24 hours. So that kind of volatility you will anyway see in index is remain going to be open. Commodities are going to be open, currencies are going to be open, but individual shares will only open 5:30 p.m. UAE time, right? Also, guys, there are potentially three outcomes. First one is Trump sweep with Republicans in control of both Senate also and House of Representatives as well. In that case, market or any corporate friendly regulatory environment is likely to continue. So big tech companies, defense companies, banks, energy companies, they can benefit from this scenario. Republicans, they're normally considered more lenient towards big tech in terms of competition. So when it comes to taxation and regulations, they are kind of favoring tech sector more. And if you see, there are a lot of funds and ETFs also. Like for example, if you see financial select sector ETF, it's a fund which is available on your platform. You can see which can have a positive impact if Donald Trump comes into aerospace and defense funds, which have all the aerospace and defense companies, right? One negative factor for Trump re-election is this, which I'm talking about, the trade tensions with China. This is something which can affect the retail sector a lot, so something which you have to keep in mind. Second outcome, as we know, if Joe Biden as a Democrat wins the elections, he gets Senate also, House of Representatives also. Now Democrats are, as I said, they are likely to raise the corporate taxes, uh, personal income tax rate. Now this can put stock markets down. So what we understand is if Democrats come, rise in taxes, stock markets might come down. But at the same time, if they increase the minimum wages, uh, so normally the labor intensive firms or companies like Uber, for example, or companies like McDonald's, for example, they might also see a fall in profit margin, because if a Democrat comes in and they say that, okay, now we are going to increase the minimum wages. So minimum wages for those companies which are very labor intensive, like Uber and McDonald's, these kind of companies, their profitability will reduce because now wages are increased, right? So even those companies might come down a bit. And again, there will be more and more investment into infrastructure, into clean energy. So those kind of companies might see a rise in a democratic environment agenda. Yes, administration can be more liberal towards the use of cannabis. So again, that is something which is a very optional thing. uh, for if it is much more favorable for cannabis, then marijuana and cannabis is also one sector, but then again, it's a different discussion altogether. So these are few factors which you can see. There is one more outcome which is possible of the election before I end this session. uh, Joe Biden can win, it might win, but then Republicans, they might keep the Senate. And these elections now have become more pro-Trump or anti-Trump, and this can be a scenario because for Joe Biden, votes may not translate to a very positive sentiment for other Democratic candidates also. So, for example, if you see, whenever there is a split Congress or whenever there has been a split government, we have seen that on an average 8% annual gain Dow Jones have got. So stock markets have gone by around 7 to 8% whenever a Democrat president comes in, but the Senate belongs to the Republicans. So these kind of things again can affect. So I hope a bit of clarity you have in what we are talking about right now. We talked about earnings, we talked about economic events, news, how you can see it in your platform. Uh, I hope you're putting your watch list on time, checking all the trades, doing some trades, short selling, stop losses, everything. This is third day for Investor Education Week. I also gave you a brief about elections, told you what are the different outcomes which can, and what kind of sectors the Republicans are looking at, what kind of sectors Democrats are looking at, what kind of stocks might rise and fall in terms of Republicans, what are ETFs you can look into in case of Joe Biden, how a raise in the minimum wage can put stocks like Uber and McDonald's into a difficult picture. So things like this, something which you can always talk to your consultants. US election is going to be on 3rd of November, so you need to be very careful. If you are trading already, please put your stop losses. If you are not trading now, then you must start investing somewhere because there are a lot of ample of opportunities. Just be very safe in what you trade, right? Guys, once again, a humble request, if you are finding these sessions useful, we have obviously a time constraint, but I'm available for one-on-one sessions. If you're finding these sessions useful, just go on Century Financial, review us on Google, and put your comments whether you like that session or not. Any issues, if you have, you talk to your relationship managers, and have a one-on-one session with me if you wish to. I will definitely take you through the entire platform once again, and we can discuss more about your selections. I am also going to do a session on 21st of October, I feel, about earnings, where we will dive in much more to understand about a few more areas in earnings. But also on 28th of October, uh, tentative, I think it's 28, but we'll definitely confirm you, where it will be about the impact of US elections on financial market. So we will talk about what will be the impact on gold or dollar or what sectors. What I just described to you, a much more dedicated portfolio of what happens if a Democrat comes in and what happens if a Republican comes in, right? So once again, guys, thank you so much for your active participation. I have seen a lot of people from the first day. They're still coming in. Thank you so much. I hope this session is worthwhile. Definitely. Now, tomorrow, we are going to have a technical analysis session, which will be about charts, candlesticks, patterns, trend lines, stock support and resistance, something which can help you out to understand that how, by studying historical price trends, we can try to determine the future price movement also. And that will be taken by one of our technical analysts, Vivian. And if the market volatility is too much and if Vivian is not available, then myself, I'll be taking care of the technical session as well. So hope to see all of you tomorrow. Once again, guys, wear your mask. I have my mask right here. I'm in an enclosed area. Please wear your mask. Be safe. Have a very good health. On behalf of my team in Century Financial and myself, I wish you a very good health. Let's connect again tomorrow. Be home, be safe, and most importantly, please keep yourself invested. Do not stop investing. That's the most important thing. My name is Yogesh, and you have a good night.